Hi, this is Ginger, and you're watching Gnostic Psych, where Sean and I share with you the arcane and interesting related to psychology. And today we're going to be talking about right-wing authoritarian personalities. There's been talk of a resurgence of right-wing authoritarianism in Western countries lately. Though right-wing authoritarianism is a political term, it is also used in psychology. In psychology speak, right-wing authoritarianism describes a person who endorses submission to the established authorities and traditional mores and isn't afraid to use aggression toward others who deviate or are different from what is expected from the social order. Before I get into specifics, I want to clarify a few misgivings about right-wing authoritarianism. Submission to authority is something everyone does to a certain degree or another, since we live in a society of laws. Right-wing authoritarians, however, take submission to the established authorities to extremes that most would not endorse. Since authoritarianism, like other psychological traits, is on a spectrum, we all are somewhere on the line. Further, authoritarian tendencies can change depending on the situation. During times of terrible events, whether natural disasters, terrorist attacks, or civil unrest, even otherwise low authoritarian people can become more submissive to the state out of need for certainty and security. Also, the right in right-wing authoritarianism does not necessarily mean people who are conservative or right-wing politically. For example, Soviet citizens who defended the communist authorities' policies of removing political and intellectual dissidents from society would be considered right-wing authoritarians. Though communism is a far-left ideology, the Soviet citizen who supported persecution of those deemed a social threat would be taking the position of upholding social convention. So what distinguishes a person with a right-wing authoritarian personality type from everyone else? Bob Altemeyer, who is a psychologist at the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, Canada, developed an assessment questionnaire. And he has been studying authoritarianism for 50 years now. He's now 80 years old. So he started studying it like late 50s, early 60s. But he developed an assessment tool called the Right-Wing Authoritarian Scale that's been completed by thousands of respondents from diverse populations and backgrounds over the last few decades. What he found was that authoritarians have three core social psychological traits. The first is authoritarian submission. Like what I said before, whereas everyone submits to authority to one degree or another in society, right-wing authoritarians take it to the extreme. Right-wing authoritarians are prepared to support the authorities' violation of constitutional rights, like privacy, free speech, the right to protest, if it means an increase in enhanced security. This includes violating the constitutional rights of members of outgroups who they deem threats to the social fabric. Second, authoritarian aggression is another trait. Right-wing authoritarians have a hostile regard toward others who don't fit in their religiously fundamentalist and socially conformist worldview. In the U.S., this would look nationalistic, Christian fundamentalist, and obsessed with race and law and order. Altemeyer's research data shows that those high in right-wing authoritarianism favor harsher penalties toward those who commit crimes, even if the punishment severity is beyond proportion to the nature of the crime. High authoritarians are also the first to call for war rather than diplomacy for solving foreign policy conflicts with other countries. Third, the trait of conventionalism is part of the three core traits. Right-wing authoritarians get bent out of shape far more frequently toward groups that don't adhere as strictly to the norms and customs of society. They tend to view themselves as being morally superior to others because of their religiously fundamental views. who do not follow the rigid path in life that they have chosen. As a consequence, they lack empathy toward others who struggle with personal problems. By blaming the victim for his or her misfortunes, they effectively reinforce in their minds that there is nothing wrong with the sometimes cold-blooded predatory society that they unwaveringly support. Are there any theories that explain how a person develops an authoritarian personality? Probably the best one is by psychologist Albert Bandura, who's famous for social learning theory. Bandura's social learning theory is best known for basically finding out that children learn socially by emulating their parents. Children adopt the preferences of their parents, including attitudes towards society and other people. The right-wing authoritarian is likely introduced to his or her parents' own authoritarian tendencies, including an affinity towards social dominance and fear and hostility toward members of outgroups who are used as scapegoats for society's problems. So in lieu of the information, it's easy to see why the psychology personality style of right-wing authoritarianism gets lumped in with fascism. But it's important to remember the difference here. Right-wing authoritarianism is a personality style, whereas fascism is a social and political order. So I hope you like this video. Please click the subscribe button as always, and we can't wait to submit the next video for you guys. Have a good one. Bye.